Hi guys, this is Noiser and Sundays are Battlefield 1 days as usual on my channel. Today I'm going to take a closer look at the Assault class by breaking down how I equip and play this class to improve my game in Battlefield 1. The Assault is the powerhouse of the game, the class with the most firepower and anti-vehicle capabilities. And I must say I really enjoy playing Assault, and especially as it's so different from at least the Medic and Scout, which is something I love with Battlefield 1, compared to how the classes worked in BF4. The Assault is equipped to be up and close to the enemies, taking out tanks, clearing out trenches and buildings. And all the Assault weapons are strong at close range and weak at medium to long range. But within that close range, there still are a lot of different choices you can make depending on your preference and playstyle. This is of course except for an interesting sniping capability with the Assault class, which I will return to later in this video. The weapons in Battlefield 1 works a bit different compared to previous Battlefield titles, as the attachment system has been replaced to make it easier to choose the right gun for you depending on the characteristics you want. All guns are available in different variants that all have benefits and disadvantages compared to each other. As I said, all assault weapons are more or less close-range weapons, but if we start with the shotguns, you can for example choose the Hunter or Slug variants, which are better at a bit longer range, or the Factory or Sweeper versions, which are better for extreme close range. And it's the same for the SMGs. The MP18 is probably the best at a bit longer range, while the Automatico, with its extreme fire rate of 900 rounds per minute, is stronger at closer range. But these two guns still have different versions if you for example feel that it suits you better to have a bit lower damage output up close but need less recoil, more stability, or even a sight to work better at range. All assault weapons will still be easily outdamaged at medium to long range, but I think it's great that you can experiment a bit within that close range to find your preferable loadout. At the time of making this video, I'm only at Assault rank 7 and haven't been able to try the Hellriegel yet, but I'm guessing that will be the favorite once I get there. If you have followed me for a while and have seen my Rainbow Six Siege videos, you know that versatility is what I prefer, even within a class that have a very specific role. Because of that, I mostly use the MP18 Trench, which is easy to use and has great hipfire to be able to get quick kills up close. The Automatico is also a beast of a gun, but as soon as the enemy gets a bit further away, it gets harder to be effective with it. If you like the power of the Automatico, and I really do as well, the Storm variant is a great middle ground as it has a bit lower recoil and therefore is easier to use at a bit of range compared to the Trench variant. Overall, I feel that hipfire is often the way to go with these guns unless you're at a bit further range. The Model 10 shotgun is a real powerhouse as well, and can be really fun to play, but I personally feel that shotguns are a bit more inconsistent as soon as you add a couple of meters of range to your enemy. For the secondary, the 1911 is a great choice if you want an overall decent gun. I go with the MLE 1903 though, as it is so easy to use, have great hipfire, decent damage and a really fast fire rate. When it comes to gadgets, the Assault of course have a variety of grenades as the other classes, but I usually stick with the smoke grenades and anti-tank grenades. The smoke grenades are great as you can equip a gas mask and move around inside the gas cloud, relying on your hipfire as that is what you use most of the time anyway. The anti-tank grenades are very effective on both armor and infantry, so I feel I have a lot of use for them. The rest of the team really have to rely on the assaults to take down tanks, so I try and make it my job to assist my squad and team as much as I can. With the AT rocket gun, you can also damage tanks at range and then charge in with a couple of grenades to finish them off. A really interesting thing with the AT rocket gun is also how fun and rewarding it can be to snipe people with at long range. You will need to adjust your aim a bit as it has a lot of bullet drop, but when you succeed, well, it's really a lot of fun. The AT rocket gun can only be fired from the prone position and is therefore a bit tricky to use when in a hurry, but if you're a bit sneaky with it, it can be hard for the enemies to determine exactly where you are. And if someone decides to rush you head on, they will probably get to eat some lead. When I play Assault, I try to reposition a lot, moving from spot to spot but staying out of the open as much as possible. I use trenches, holes in the ground, buildings, rocks, friendly tanks or whatever cover I can find, as I know that I will be outdamaged at medium to long range by other classes. What's so great with the Assault though is that you have so much firepower and can often hold the line quite good when enemies are storming down the trenches. In these situations I try to stay put as long as I don't seem to be spotted, as it is much harder to spot in Battlefield 1 compared to BF4 for example. It's also easier to stay hidden or at least not spotted on the minimap. Because of this, I often find it best not to stick my head up and run away the first chance I get, but rather just to stay in cover as long as I have something to throw at the enemy storming in. So to sum this up, when I play Assault, I prefer the MP18 Trench or the Automatico Storm, as I get much more versatile that way. For the secondary, I choose the easy-to-use Emily 1903. I equip gas grenades, anti-tank grenades and the AT rocket gun, and I make it my role to make it as hard as possible for armor to push through our defenses. If you're not already doing this, try to use the hip fire at most ranges with both the SMGs and shotguns, as I feel that is the easiest way to get a feel for the strength of these weapons. If you get in a tight spot, throw a gas grenade and equip a mask if they throw one back at you, and as soon as you get hit markers, throw something else at the enemy's general direction, if you need those extra seconds to regenerate health. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten random kills just by tossing grenades in the direction from where I'm being attacked. And staying in cover is often the best tactic in Battlefield 1, when there is a lot of action going on around you in my opinion. So that's about it for today guys. What are your thoughts around the Assault class? Do you agree with my view on the Assault role, or do you have other, better ideas? Perhaps you have some preferred loadouts of your own or some tips or tricks you would like to share. Do so by leaving a comment below. And please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, as that really means a lot to me. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with my future content. I will be back on Thursday with some more interesting Rainbow Six Siege videos, and until then, I will keep being Noiser. Hej då!